What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest Live Show. Thanks for joining me on this lovely Thursday evening, even though we're going to be going up against a debate tonight. So I don't know if you're going to get bored on that end or bored on my end. So whatever, we're going to be bored on a Thursday. But we're having pretty pleasant weather here. It's been in the 60s and 70s. The end of October here. So I don't know if that means we're going to have a crazy winter or a mild one. I could definitely go for a mild winter. But tonight should be a good show. I got Jeff on here. He's coming on, and he's got a unique story and an experienced tech and kind of relocating and starting over and how difficult that is. So I think it's going to be a really, really good episode. This past week, we had Mr. Dave Streen on from Edgy Tools, and we kind of threw a lot of little gems out there, little tips and little things to help you grow your business. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did not get to see it, make sure you go out there and either on my YouTube page or my Facebook page and check it out, because there's some really good gems that we dropped. But I do have to thank someone, Mr. Jesse, for sending me the Dent Life hat. I really appreciate it. This hat it's probably one of the doper designs. Such a simple, clean look. I appreciate it, brother. And if you guys, I dropped a review on YouTube on the Glexo Hail and Standard Glexo kit. If you missed that, make sure you go check it out. I took a little bit of time, kind of more information than example of repairs. So, and how I store it. And it's been working really, really well. So let's get Jeff on here, get this thing rocking and rolling, get into some tools and see what's going on. You guys definitely want to check next week. Next week's show is going to be a little different, but it's going to be very informative. So let me get Jeff on here and see what we got going on. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Let me get your level up a little bit there. So how was your Thursday? I talked to him earlier. He says, man, I'm running around and get all this stuff done. Everybody stresses that. They're like, I don't want to be late.
Exactly.
I can ramble about nothing.
I had, at the end of the day yesterday, everybody's calling me and like it was going to be a chaotic day. And I'm like, of course, because that's the way it works for a dent guy. Everything's supposed to go smooth so I can do the show, and then it all blows up at the end of the day.
Come on.
But it was crisis averted. It wasn't as big of a deal as everybody made it out to be, and it all worked out. Everybody got happy, and I got home early.
That's like anything, though. You're getting ready to go to MTE, and the day before you're going off, the shit hits the fan, and you're like, oh, my God, I'm never getting all this done. We always figure it out.
Yeah.
We always figure it out. So I'm going to blow through what I brought for tools-wise real quick, and then we're going to get into your stuff.
All right. Hopefully we didn't bring the same stuff.
Only got 2 items, so it should be pretty quick. So I do have Peter's new VIP tip. It's super little pin. It's really for just finishing. I don't know if you guys can see that, how small it is. Here is the standard VIP, so you can kind of see the difference in size. Bring it down some. There you go. You can see it's super fine. So I've been using this thing for probably 2 months. I'm a big VIP fan. I love metal tips. I just love knocking with them. I mean, they do such a great job. So when I first got this, I was scared. I was scared that it was too sharp and it was going to make a mess. But it's not what I thought. This is really, really for the true finishing. So I wouldn't go in and use it like a standard VIP. I would use this at the very, very end to just finish. And it is so clean. And usually the VIP, sometimes you'll leave that little divot in the paint. This thing didn't do that. This thing was just so fine-tuned that I could just get those micro highs, and it works fantastic. Not 100% when they're going to be released, but it'll be released soon. If you're a guy that does some higher end stuff, get it because it works fantastic. Now the other thing I've had on on the hammer show, and I've been using it periodically, and I've kind of mixed up some tips on it, and it's the Metal Medic Rail Blaster. I'll tell you, and I was using the VIP blending hammer, and I was like, let me give this a try. The weight to it is fantastic. It's got this little orange cap, and a lot of people are misunderstood on this one. This orange cap you can pull off. I don't know if I can do it with one hand, but you can pull it off, and it's polished underneath. It's just a polished head on the hammer, which is affixed on there. So, but I stuck the VIP little blending tip is what he's calling it now. And the balance on this, I mean, the craftsmanship, the balance, the way it feels in my hand. I'm not a big carbon fiber hammer guy. You know, a lot of the blending hammers, they just felt too thin, you know, too light. And this has some good weight to it. So great job, Ken. I'm very happy with it. I mean, even this ball, you know, is all machined aluminum, fits really nice in the hand. So, you know, if you guys are thinking about that, I think he was running a sale on them. But that's all I got. Hopefully you got something more exciting than those two.
Maybe. I mean, since we're giving Peter love, I've got his Death Star tip, and then I don't know what he called this one. And then the next size of the next size of the leather tip.
Yeah. And
I didn't know how I'd like the leather tips, but I kind of like them.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know, and I was one originally. I've been using the carb knockdown, the big nylon with the leather on the head. I've been using that for quite a while. And then I started using the crown jewels. And then Peter came out with these. They all are different. Every one of these things hit differently. So I kind of use a little bit of all. You know, I kind of mix them in.
Same here. Now, the Death Star tips, there's like a sweet spot.
There is.
You know, you can put enough pressure to where you can start moving that metal. But if you start getting too aggressive, then it starts getting all porcupined up, and you end up with a mess. They're
fabulous with reducing big damage.
Yeah.
But I've gotten so good with those tips to where I don't even I can physically see each individual push.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You can, it's almost like you just have a sharp tip on there, and you can just go on there and just slowly.
Yeah.
I love that tip. I mean, it is
I haven't really had any hail yet since I've gotten those to test them out on. So our hail season isn't till, I don't know, it hailed in December last year. So, you know, who knows if we'll get hail this year.
Do you get hail a lot there, or
no?
Just periodically?
Periodically.
Yeah.
You'll get like a little pocket, you know, little pocket here, a little pocket there, but nothing, you know, like everybody talks about 2010, because apparently that was the catastrophic storm that guys worked for like a year and a half. But that's the unicorn hailstorm of Arizona.
The one in a lifetime.
Yeah. And then I've got this from Stanliner. Their J-hook. You know, I don't know what it is about this. It just fits in weird places.
Yeah.
You know, and it pushes nice, but it's, you know, gets around door handles. You know, you can go around the door handle and then come up behind the door handle, and it just fits in. It gets in places that I am amazed it can get into.
Now, are you a big Stanliner guy?
You know, at first I wasn't, because I was like, I don't know how to use these things. There are all these crazy bends and stuff on them. And then Alex started buying them.
He's got a couple.
And yeah. And, you know, he was like, you need to buy this one. And I bought it. And I was like, I don't know why I've gone so long without it. You know, I use it daily. And so, yeah, I've probably got 5 Stanliner tools now. But yeah, I'm not like him. As soon as Thomas shows a couple new ones, Alex is already getting out his credit card.
He calls, me and Alex will talk, and we're talking about Alex from Dent Hunters, good buddy of mine. He's been a huge follower of this show for a long time. And he has, oh man, it was like these bent, I don't even know which ones they were. It was a right and left. He's like, I can't believe you have them. He's like, you know what? I'm going to mail them to you so you can try them. I said, if you mail them here, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
They haven't showed up yet.
Nice. And then I just got these and used them today. I'm trying not to get my cord caught for my headphones. The Door Lord, the blade tip with the
tactical grip.
Yeah, the leverage on this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I was using it today on the top of a Chevy pickup truck, and I had my Dent Wizard way. I got my forehead pushed against the car, looking down it, and I just had my thumb in my finger, and I'm just pushing with my thumb.
Are you still upside down? Are you working upside down
sometimes
anymore? Yeah.
Sometimes it's where you can get the best line of sight.
Yeah.
To get the dent smooth.
Most of the time I'm plastered against a car like this, all the way up against it.
Well, it's hard when you got glasses on, to put your face on the side of the car. So sometimes it's easier for me just to stick my head on there. But yeah, that comes in 3 sizes. You got a long, medium, and short. But then the last one, it was, as I was filling my basket at Anson, it just, it was an impulse buy. And I'm not sure. I don't have an opinion on it yet. I got the Fetty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I played with it a little bit today. I'll get lined up with the camera. And, it's like spring loaded.
Yeah.
You just pull on it and let it go. And I played with it a little bit today on a truck bed. I sat down, stuck my hand up in the bedside, and was banging it and just playing around. But I don't know. I'm still out on that one.
It's I actually saw that tool from someone at the Hail Expo like 2 years ago. I think they were over in Germany. But I don't know. I think it would be useful in certain instances. I think bedsides would be a huge help with that because you always have that big opening.
Yeah.
But I think it's a useful tool. I think you'll find more uses for it than you think.
Yeah, because I was like, I work on so many trucks that I'm looking for something when you get the small dent at the bottom of the bedside. Because it's like I got the dent dials, but it takes you like 20 minutes to get the dent dial set up.
Yeah. What else do you use down there for leverage?
Pretty much just the dent dial.
Which one?
I've got the 35 heavy duty. I've got the 35 heavy duty, the 35 light, and then was it the 22 light duty?
Yeah.
So I've got 3.
I'll tell you, I say this all the time. And when I first looked at Sal's stuff, and I'm like, holy crap, $300 or whatever, $400. And before I knew what they really were, I'm like, looks like a leaf spring, right? Yeah. But then there was a local guy that had one, and I used it. We were working close together, and I bought that thing as fast as I could order it after I used it. And I was like, where has this thing been? I saw Sal and shook his hand at MTE, and he's like, what's this for? And I was like, that thing is amazing. It's amazing. And I have one, I think it's a 22 heavy, and it is just bent, and I don't ever bend it. It's absolutely perfect for fenders. And that's all I use it for is fenders. Okay. It's just a fantastic tool. So, but let's get into you a little bit before we ramble the whole time about tools.
Yep.
As everybody heard a couple minutes ago, you're an old Dent Wizard tech, and you worked for them for how long?
I think about 8 years. Before that, I was a CarMax in-house tech. So,
good old CarMax.
Yes, indeed. Hey, I was never going to leave until they kicked us out in 08.
Yeah.
That was like a gravy job. You got paid really good to fix dents that big.
True.
And then, when we got booted out, in 08, when the economy took a dump and they went with Dent Wizard, I was one of the ones picked up by Dent Wizard because, all their route guys went into CarMax and then they needed somebody to fill the route. So I became a route tech, and, the manager took me out and showed me a few small dents, then dropped me off at this Mitsubishi dealership, and there's a football-sized dent and a quarter panel. And I go, that needs to go to the body shop. He just started laughing. He goes, no, we fixed that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to learn how to fix big dents.
I remember those days. Now, the one reason I wanted to get you on the show is your story, and it's kind of unique. It's kind of a guy that's got some years pushing, picks up, moves to a completely new market, and your friends are out here. You got some good friends that live out there with you, and they're like, you're gonna be just fine. I did all the groundwork for you. You're gonna be good.
I had
happened?
one. I only knew Dave. Dave,
okay.
Dave and I worked close with each other back in Illinois with Dent Wizard. We literally worked 2 stoplights away from each other. And he worked at the auction, I worked at the CarMax. And then I would help him out when he was going on vacation or had a ton of work. So we got to know each other through that. And then he came out first. And the funny thing is when he was out here struggling, I talked to him at least every other day, talking him off the ledge, because he went through, the same thing I went through. But, and then after a couple of years, he bugged me for like 3 years after that. Dude, you got to come out. You got to come out here. You got to come out here. And then, the wife and I talked about it, and, she finally got tired of the freezing winters of Illinois, and we decided to take a chance and just quit all of our jobs and uproot and move out to Arizona. And of course you're going to struggle trying to pick up accounts because you have no contacts.
Yeah.
But I think my Achilles heel is Dave had me so pumped up that it was going to be so easy that I was overconfident. I thought that I was just going to walk in the dealership and it was like the pearly gates were going to open and they were just going to start. How fast can you fix our cars? And I forgot about, how much relationship means.
It's huge.
I just had blinders on. It was going to be so easy. And I got humbled real fast.
Now, you obviously moved there and got settled in. And did you hit the ground right away, or did you kind of?
No, I knew about 5 months. I basically did the Dave Shutt exit plan. We had we knew way ahead of time. So, the wife, she was, getting the website, the way she wanted it. She designed the logo. I'd go to work every day and she'd put the work in behind the scenes to get the new business up and go. And then, she even went to, we flew out over Thanksgiving and we house hunted for 2 days. So we bought a house in 2 days out there. And then we flew back, and then I was leaving Dent Wizard on December 31st. And then, the U-Haul was going to be packed up, and January 21st, we were heading to Arizona. And I came out first, and she stayed back in Illinois to get our house there, finalized and sold. And then she worked till April, and then she came out.
Okay.
But, you run into speed bumps, like the house out in Arizona, she put in her name. So all the mail came in her name. So I couldn't get a driver's license till I got some mail with my name on it. And then I couldn't get business insurance until I had a driver's license. So I kind of got, I got put a month behind, on all that. So kind of end of February, I kind of had some stuff going. Dave threw me a big hail car. So that bailed out my month at the end of February. And then, Dave was throwing me some work here and there. Like when he'd go off to do his Kiko demos, then I'd go cover his accounts for him and that.
Yeah.
And, the wife made a binder and she had all the dealerships and phone numbers, addresses in all the cities. And then, she'd have me write down the manager's name I talked to, what day I talked to him, the contact information, and
a little bit of trace tracking.
Yeah. She sat back in Illinois and looked up every city and made a notebook of every dealership and every good size, rot lot. And
look at that.
Then I just went knocking doors, and it was, I expected to hear no. So it didn't shock me when I heard no. But when I'm like coming to the last page of the binder and I'm at like 80 no's and nobody's even throwing me a car, they're all telling me I got the best dent guy. And, then you kind of start worrying.
Was there a time to where you just walked their lot and looked to see what they did have?
Yeah. And the funny thing is there's quite a few dealers out here that they don't care. And, it was just, and then I even took a page out of Dave's book, because Dave, we made postcards, because you've got a very small window with the used car manager, the recon manager, the service manager, because that's the next biggest thing is you walk in, you talk to the customer service girl, and you're trying to find out, who do I need to be in front of? Because this dealer group, the service manager handles all the reconditioning. In this dealer group, they've got a recon manager. In this dealer group, the used car manager handles it. So, just trying to find out who was the right person you needed to be talking to was another project. But then, Dave came up with this and I copied it. We just made postcards. And, you just put some of your more impressive repairs on there, and then you hand it to the used car manager, and I got a lot of good feedback from that, because I've even had some were like, well, my guy's not fixing that. And I'm thinking, oh, golden, but then they still wouldn't, make the change.
Now, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different from the beginning?
I would have found Alex earlier.
How did you and Alex get hooked up?
I was with Dave at one of Dave's accounts, and the painter, the mobile painter there, was telling Dave, "Hey, I know this young dent, this young kid, dent guy. He's looking to meet other guys." And so Dave set up a lunch date to meet with him. And of course, where'd we meet? We met at Hooters, because that's where dent guys do all their business.
Hooters. You just said Hooters. We are talking about some old men here.
So we made a lunch date at Hooters, and then we all chatted, and Dave was like, "Hey, I gotta go," and I didn't really have nowhere to be, so I stayed and talked to Alex for like another 2 hours in Hooters parking lot, and we just hit it off, and the rest was kind of history. Alex was he was like that tech that was on the island. He thought he was good, but he didn't really know how good he was because he wasn't around. He was only around like a couple dent guys.
Yeah.
So he had me go work with him one day. And after spending a couple hours with him, I'm like, dude, you're there. you're a high level dent guy, and I think that was all he needed. He needed somebody, to tell him that. And then you see his repairs on Instagram,
Yeah.
But, Alex knew the lay of the land. He's like, don't waste your time at these dealers. They burn through vendors. They want the $40 dent guys. He goes, don't waste your time with these guys. So Alex kind of gave me the lay of the land, and, it's kind of like, well, these are the ones you want to kind of go after. And so then I kind of, just honed in on certain dealers. And so.
At least Alex helped. A lot of guys with a new dent guy in the area would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of have that standoffish, but Alex is such a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Alex is, sometimes he's too nice for his own good.
He's not even watching the show because he's out playing with deer.
Yeah. He's out hunting for the next 7 days. So
this guy, I have better things to do than go sit in the cold weather. Well, I guess it's not cold there. So
no, well, it was cold today. I mean, we're used to like 100.
It's cold today. It was like 85, I'm sure, right?
No, it was 92.
Oh my! And you guys were in a parka.
Yeah.
Were you guys wearing parkas?
Almost.
Oh my!
We had the hottest. It was. I mean, you don't have anywhere to hide. I don't work inside anywhere. I've got an umbrella and my Get a Grip, and that's all I got.
Yeah, but you got a big umbrella. I see some pictures. I mean, you break out.
Yeah, I got a patio umbrella that hangs out of my roll around cart. And but yeah, we had, what was it, 145 days of over 100 degree. And then they broke the record. There was 55 days of 110 or above. So it was definitely a hot one.
But you have zero humidity, right?
In the summertime, it gets a little humid. I mean, in August and July, you'll get like 40% humidity, and it makes it a little miserable.
We'll have 90 to 100 here with 100% humidity.
Yeah.
So,
it's not bad.
But see, I think Arizona heat's more dry.
It is. I mean, but when it's hot, like I didn't feel it this year. I mean, it was hot, but it wasn't like that. I'm going to die hot.
Yeah.
And the first year I was there, they had a couple days where it's like 118, and I could feel the heat through the soles of my shoes. You're walking on the asphalt, and like, the bottom of my feet, I'm like, man, why are my feet so hot? And I'm like, oh, because I'm standing on black asphalt.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it was like, the first 5 months were a struggle. I mean, I told you, I don't remember where it was, like maybe the 4-month mark. Dave had a big get together at his house, and fed us crab legs, and you go to Dave's house and it's like eating at a 5-star restaurant. So if
you go to dinner with Dave anywhere, and it's always eating good.
I know he's like a Michelin chef, so he always feeds everybody. And yeah, that was probably like the lowest point. I was just so beat up and down and frustrated, but I think that was my rock bottom moment, because then you start feeling like, okay, I just had the family quit their jobs, follow me out to Arizona, and I'm failing. And it was a wake up call.
Well, you know what I think though, I remember that when I started RPS, I had nothing. It was based really retail. And then you go in there, they're like, no, I got a guy, he's the best. And you're way better than he is, because you have the experience. Give me anything you have.
Yeah.
But I think it's that persistence of going in, seeing him every week, and just, plowing through that. And it gets old. I mean, it does wear on you. There are days you come home and you're like, I remember telling my wife, I think I made the wrong decision. And she's like, looks at me and she goes, you better figure it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's I think the persistence helps with that. I think a lot of guys go and they go on a new account and get blown out the door and never go back.
Yeah.
Because there's that one time that manager's like, he just said he couldn't fix this. Let me waste this other guy's time. And then you go there. I mean, that's how I got some of my accounts, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I got 80% of my accounts is, you know, you get one gives you the shot. You know, I had one where, you know, the recon manager was a girl and she calls me. You know, I hadn't talked to her or been in there in like 6 months. And she calls me out of the blue and she's like, hey, I've been waiting. I finally have a fender like the one on your postcard. And I've been waiting to see you fix it. So I went there and fixed it. And they went and got the general manager and looked at it. And they were all just like amazed because, I mean, Dave told me this. He goes, they've never seen the capabilities of a real dent guy.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? It's not their fault either. Paintless in the last 6 years has exploded, you know. I mean, you got the couple freaks like Bryce Kelly that's just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy how far the industry, and a lot of that's technology, you know, a lot of it's tools.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of guys just are taking it to that next level.
Yeah. And, but yeah, it was grinding and just doing big, nasty stuff after big, nasty stuff.
And that wears on you too.
Oh yeah. And
now on that big, nasty stuff there, where are you charging?
I was dirt cheap because I was like so desperate.
Just to get in.
Yes. Like I did, a Dodge Dakota bedside. This thing was just like a 55-gallon drum got smashed into the back of it. And luckily where I pulled it, there was a brand new Jeep. So I glued a bunch of Kiko tabs and I ran rope ratchets around the spare tire on the Jeep. And I'm just rope ratcheting and pulling tension, knocking down crowns. And I probably spent 4 hours, but I got it and they were amazed and, you know, landed that account. And
that makes, you know, it sucks. Nobody wants to spend time and you know you're not making money, but in the back of your head. And you know what pushed me? And I can truly say there's an account that I have that I went there at like 4 p.m. He called me about a car, ran right out. I was trying to get this account. And, you know, it was one of those when you walk into the dealer and all the salesmen are like, the car that you're here for is out front. And you walk out there and you're like, oh man, I remember it. It was a Nissan Frontier with the rear door that opens out and it was smashed through the bed and the edge of the rear door. And I remember pulling it around. I pull the door off. I put it in my tailgate because it was the inner edge where the door opens up. And I look over and the used car manager's like driving away in his car. But I remember there was a manager when I worked for the Wiz that would always push me, knew what buttons to push, knew how to push me. And I remember in the back of my head as I'm working on this car, him saying, I'm telling you, this car's going to pay off. Just put your head down, get it done. Just do what you got to do to get it done. In the back of your head, you know, you're just sitting there, you're just mentally like pissed and it's getting dark and you've got your illuminant light, your truck lights on here. It's dark outside. You're the only guy in the parking lot and you were just getting your butt kicked. And in the back of your head, you know, he's yapping, just do the car, Ryan, just fix the car. And, you know, so it's such a crazy industry because I say this to my new guy all the time. I'm like, this whole job is 80% mental. It's 80% mental. If you walk up to a job right now, big smash, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get this. You're losing right off the bat. You know, at least that's how I work.
Yeah.
You know, if I know, there's some nights that I'll go to bed thinking about how I'm going to attack that dent the next morning that's really bad.
Yeah.
You know, What's the work like out there? Is it a lot of smashes? Is it a lot of small stuff?
I seem to be, I've kind of dug myself a hole and done a lot of the smashes. So you kind of get, it's not so much. I mean, when I first started, that's all I was getting because that's all I could do to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
But then again, once they see that, then,
that's you.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got this. And they'll start buying them because they know you can fix them and they're shit cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one of my good accounts. Oh man, I hate doing this to you, but I got this one. So I fixed it. I'm not going to do this to you ever again. And then
Next
2 weeks
week.
later, another one. And then all of a sudden it was like one every week. And I'm like, okay, now it really sucks. Because it's like, you told me you weren't going to do this very often. So I priced myself into a not doing it very often. And yeah, but now it's it's gone away. So I'm going to ride that as long as I can. But
I tell a lot of guys, even customers and some smashes, and they're like, oh, the body shop said you can fix this. And you're looking at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's pretty bad. It's going to be like $600 or $700. And we're talking for a couple minutes and I was like, yep. I look at him. I said, yep, I'm the idiot in town that says yes to everything. So, it comes with the territory.
Yeah. Well, then the other thing is I didn't even have a fully established route yet. Like I didn't have anywhere to be, but I was already I already fired one customer because I was like a bad account. I remember all those PDR college podcasts with Keith Codesino.
That was such a good podcast. I think almost every dent guy out there, if you have not listened to those, you need to go back because there are some really, really good episodes that have even helped me through things.
Because I was like, Keith was always like, a bad account's a bad account, account. And I'm like, I'm hurting myself by keeping this bad account because it's locking me down to where I can't go out and look for a better account.
Yep.
So the funny thing is I fired that account 3 times before they stopped calling. One day that the general manager calls me, he's like, hey, go look at these 2 trucks in the back. I go in the back, they're 2 F-250, they're like Ford F-150s, all aluminum. Ugh. One of them's got like a 6-inch rip in the bedside. The other one's got and these things are destroyed. And I was just like, I'm out of here. I hopped back in my truck, drove away. He looks at me, I look at him, and I just drove right out of the parking lot. And, but yeah. And then, probably after the 6th month, I landed a big account on my own. And it was just being at the right place at the right time.
That's what I was going to say.
I was at the bad account that I fired 3 times. And the interior guy, we were just talking, and out of the blue, he was just like, because I wasn't even asking him, and he just said, oh, I'm going down here. And yeah, I heard they're looking for a dent guy. So I immediately got in my truck, drove 2 dealers down and rolled right in and like, who do I need to talk to? And of course, what do? They give me a destroyed Chevy fender. I spent a day and a half on that thing. But Alex even came and brought me some of them Stanliner tools to try to help me out. And, I knocked it out of the park and I've still got the account to today.
Yeah.
And, that was a good one because that was the big fish. And that kind of took some stress off because, okay, now I've got some good money coming in. And then I just kept, beating the street. And then it was almost like, it's like once you pick up the first good account, then it was like things started clicking. Then it was like dominoes, then another place, then I get an opportunity somewhere else. And
it's mental. It is.
It really got crazy in December and January, because in December, I had 2 places call me out of the blue. And I think one of them I ended up firing. because they wouldn't get rid of their used car dent guy. And then they just wanted me to, they were calling me, hey, this employee's got a dent in his car. And this employee's got a dent in their car. And then when I fired them was they had an employee and they had a Dodge Challenger. And it had a football-sized dent in the quarter panel right through the byline. And she's telling me, oh, yeah, the service manager told me you'd fix it for $60. And I'm like, you need to add like a 0 to that. And, you know, she's like, well, that's my whole paycheck. It's like, not my problem.
Yeah, call your insurance company.
So, yeah, I bailed out on them. I said, you're bad, you're done. And then I bought a ProMaster from one of my dealers. And then the sales guy went to another one of their locations. So then he called me out of the blue. Hey, you need to come over here looking for a dent guy. So it's like I fell into that place. And, you know, then the one reconditioning manager that, you know, showed me that, you know, hey, I want to see you do this fender, like on your postcard. She quit. And then she disappeared. And then I got a phone call from her out of the blue. You know, hey, this is so-and-so, and, you know, I've got a hood for you. You know, their dent guy turned it down, and she goes, I know you can fix it. So I went there, fixed it, and I've had that account ever since. So,
and a lot of that's relationship based.
Yeah.
Building, and I say it, I've said it in multiple shows. Go be best friends with the wash guys. Go be best friends with the service people. Everybody in there should know who you are.
You know, I try, but that's one of my weaker points, I would say. Now, Dave and Alex, that's their high point. Like, Alex will make no money and just spend the day talking to everybody at the dealership.
Yes, that's me.
You know,
that's me.
And that's probably one of my, I mean, I talk to everybody and friendly with them, but I don't chase down every single, you know, person. You know, I hit the, you know, used car manager, the general manager, the service manager, and then, you know, it's like techs will come to me.
Yeah.
You know, you deal with the service drive and you'll deal with service techs, and, you know, kind of like once I get introduced through the dealership, then I kind of build a relationship. But, you know, I don't chase every person down.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like Alex. I'll talk to everybody in there. I'll make sure everybody knows I'm there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yep. I told Alex, like, he offers to buy tons of people lunch. I said, dude, you're going to go broke.
He's got too much money.
You're going to go broke.
Too much money over there.
Yeah. He likes buying lunches too.
I need to come to Arizona and get some lunches from Alex.
He'll take care of you. He'll put you to work too.
Where, after you started rolling, you know, in your business right now, what is your game plan? Do you want to keep growing? Are you happy where you are? What's your...
I don't know. I mean, right now, you know, we had the opposite effect of COVID. When COVID first hit in March, all the dealers are panicking. You know, all the dealers like furloughed like 20 people. I mean, they went down to a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
And then right after they did that, then here comes all the stimulus checks. And apparently everybody thought that was new car money.
Yeah.
So everybody raced to the dealerships, and all of a sudden every dealer is having record months. And then
all I can say is it worked. You know, that's what they wanted that money for.
You know, then they started, you know, because then they shut, you know, the manufacturers shut down because they started making, you know, ventilators, masks, face shields. So all the dealers started running out of cars. They had no new cars. And then the smart ones, hey, I need to start buying, you know, used cars.
Yeah.
So then, you know, the used car inventory like tripled. So, you know, it worked out for us.
Here it was different. Everybody had trouble getting used cars.
Yeah.
You know, it was, inventory was low.
You know, I called my buddy Chris, but, you know, he's in Indiana. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, it's bad. Like Illinois and Indiana, the dealerships closed down. He goes, I've got no income. He goes, you know, I'm gonna have to file for unemployment. And I was like, I've never heard of an independent dent guy having to file for unemployment. And I was just like, you know, it blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago or whatever. And I said, man, a lot of techs are still pretty busy. You know, there were a lot of techs that had really good, hail was pretty good. You know, we were rocking, you know, as soon as we reopened, I mean, we were jam packed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a weird year. You know, it's still that weird. We don't know what the winter's going to be like. It's that uncertain. You know, you could go every year before and you know when you slow down. You know, October, November, we slow down. December is kind of a weird month. And then, you know, this year we're kind of double wham. We have the election, which always makes money weird. People are either spending or they're not spending. And we have COVID. So,
yeah. I mean, I was stressed out, wondering how I was going to get everything done all summer. And then, you know, now it's starting to slow down. So,
yeah,
you know, it's kind of like, I mean, there are some young guys out here that are just getting in the market that, you know, you could use as a subcontractor, but, you know, unfortunately right now it's just starting to slow down.
Yeah.
You know, if we would have crossed paths with some of these guys, you know, 3-4 months ago, it would have been a huge, you know, stress reliever.
But right now you would still be in the same position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd have a guy that you'd want to use, but it's slowed down and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. And we talked about that. You're like, how do you know when it's a good time to bring a tech on?
Yeah. You know, Dave did a good job with that. Once he hit the ground out here, he started he's got, I laughed. I said, man, I went from Dave's number 1 to I'm like number 8. Because he had 6 guys. He built a network of 6 guys. And, you know, they all had their own stuff. And then they'd help Dave out because, you know, Dave was running, you know, a ton of dealers. And then he'd always run off to go do all the Kiko stuff. And so Dave did a good job building up his network. And, you know, now Alex is starting. Alex hired a guy and he's talking about hiring another guy, but I don't know. I don't think I'm at that point yet to hire another guy.
It's hard to find guys too. You know what I mean? It's it's hard to find guys that have the same passion for it as you do.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to give up that control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You control, and, you know, now you're relying on, you know, someone else to interact at your dealer when you're not there. And it's hard to give up that control.
Having new guys when you're building your business and it's just you're the business.
Yeah.
And you have to get them introduced and get the customer comfortable with that guy. But still in that used car manager's head, they're like, Ryan would have did it faster and it would have been cheaper. You know what I mean? So it's still that it's a tough conversion when you bring guys on.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, if you look at your next 5-year plan, what do you want? What is your dream plan?
I don't know. 5 years from now, I'm going to be almost 60.
You're going to still be pushing because you love it.
I know. Yeah, I haven't thought that far.
Next 3 years. Give me 3 years.
I mean, it'd be nice to have somebody subcontract for you. You know, just I mean, you don't want to work your life away. No. I mean, I'm out here in Arizona where it's sunny all the time. You know, we got a big lake 30 minutes away. You know, it'd be nice to enjoy Arizona and not work myself to death.
Yeah.
You know.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know, this year is kind of like my first, from January to December, stable year. Everything's gone good. We've got stability. There's no hiccups. The first year was chaotic,
Stressful.
so, we'll see what next year brings.
I don't know. I give you a lot of credit for picking up and going out there and just trying to start something new. The good thing is you did have Dave,
Yeah.
that helped a little bit and kind of gave you an idea. And then Alex, sometimes running into the right people at the right time really help you get over that edge.
Yeah. Well, like, at Dave's house, he was like, I talked him off the ledge for 6 months. And he goes, you're not listening to all the advice you gave me. You're not listening to none of your own advice. So.
You're being an asshole. Hey, but that's what you have friends for.
Oh, yeah.
The good thing with Dave is he'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm excited to see what happens. I've been watching your stuff. Your wife's doing a really good job with your social media, and
yeah, she's taken over all that. So I don't do any. I just go out and push dents. She handles all the social media, and
you're a lucky man.
Yeah. Some days she'll come with me and she'll just have the iPad rolling, getting content, but then some days she'll be like, I think it was a couple weeks ago. Oh man, I just had bad car after bad car after bad car. And she's there with the iPad. And I'm like throwing tools on the ground and not a happy camper. So she got to see, she coined it a long time ago, Work Jeff. So she got to see Work Jeff come out.
Yeah. If you had one tip for some of these new techs building their own paintless dent repair business, what would it be? Piece of advice or a tip?
I would tell them to do the same thing that I got lucky. I met Alex. You need to meet as many dent guys as you can. Some dent guys aren't going to want to give you the time of day, but there are the dent guys out there that, will help you. There's a young guy out here now that, I've been in contact with them, and, I told him, I says, hey, anytime you got a question, just call me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the network with your local guys.
Yeah. And I mean, the new guys coming in now have got a way more advantage than we have.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, when I first started, I had a $10 fluorescent bulb and very little guidance, and you just had to figure it on your own.
Yeah.
There was no Facebook. Oh, you know what I had? I had doording.com. Thank God for Ricky Bain, because I would go to work and struggle, and then I'd come home and spend hours on doording.com just trying to learn anything I could.
Yep.
And, the guys nowadays, you've got Dent Trainer, you've got Jim Mitchell's, there's Facebook, YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And, the tools, the lighting, glue pulling, everything is so advanced that, these guys are getting up to speed so fast.
Us old guys are getting in trouble.
Dude, I see some of these guys are like 2 years in the repairs they're pulling off. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, I didn't pull off them repairs till I was like a 10-year tech.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing it at the 2-year mark.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's scary, but it's good. It's good for the industry. And, my thing is persistence. I tell guys all the time, be persistent. It just like we were talking before. I know it. You go into these places and you get down on yourself, and you come home and you're like, man, I just don't know if I can do this. And, I heard John Hiley talking today, and he was getting interviewed by someone, and he was talking about, he remembers cold calling accounts and sitting in front of the accounts in his car and trying to build up confidence to walk in there and see the manager. We've all been there.
Well,
We've
yeah,
all been there.
I'd hear no at this dealer, and I'd be pissed. And then I'd have to sit in my car at the next dealership, get the smile on your face, get right to go in there and be happy and talk to them so they can tell you no.
Yeah. Just be persistent. Remember that most of it's mental and it's relationship based, and you just need that one little break. You know, just keep going in. Go in every week. Get on this guy's nerves to where he's like, God, this guy just won't leave me alone. Let me just throw him a car, and then you get that car and it's beat, and you fix it one step closer. So
much of our business is just being at the right place. You're the dent guy that was at the right place at the right time, because there's a dent guy there the day before dropping off a card, and you just hit them on the day where their dent guy pissed them off.
Yep.
So it's a lot of it's a luck of the draw. Yeah.
Just be persistent and keep that head up and keep pushing. And Jeff, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, the hour went by quick.
I told you it would, and I'll tell you, we could sit here for like 3 more hours. We were on the phone today for like 35, 40 minutes.
I don't know what it is about your voice, but I could just talk to you forever.
I don't know. Toledo's got a better calm. I think Toledo's voice just makes you chill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But keep up the good work.
Yeah,
it's good to see. It's been fun. I would see it MT, and you're like, I don't know how the hell you get all this stuff done. And I was like, I just don't sleep.
I know. Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you, and keep up the good work. Tell your wife to keep doing what she's doing, because it's working.
Yeah.
And, it should be, you'll keep growing. You're going to need some help soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've only been out here scratching the surface. So eventually, it'll snowball.
It's coming. Then you can be all stressed out again.
Yep.
That's another type of stress,
Oh, it is. Because, I mean, time management is a big stress.
Oh.
Because all it takes is one job. The best one I like is when you're at the dealership, everything's going fine. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to make my next stop on time. And then the used car manager's like, hey, I got this one back out in detail I want you to take a look at and do. And it's just, you're just like, dude, that's going to take me 2 hours. Yep. You just blew up my whole day.
Yep. And I say that all the time. Guys are like, what time are you going to be here? I don't know. Just like your dent. I don't know. I don't know how long your dent's going to take. You know what I mean? It's just like the job before yours.
Yeah.
But one job can wreck your whole day. So
yep.
It is what it is. You can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Well, thanks for coming on, brother.
No problem.
I appreciate it. And you guys, keep it real. Wash your damn hands. If you need anything, let me know. And join us. Thanks for joining us this show, and we'll see you next week. See you guys. Keep it real. Bye-bye.